Okay? You can call Scats Daytonas, you can call them not faster. This shit's fast, bro. I promise. Alright, team. Welcome to the video. I'm gonna tell y'all today why this is not a ScatPack, okay? This is not a ScatPack. This is a Daytona 392, okay? It's not a ScatPack. Let's get into it. I think for the comparisons, we should definitely start with a ScatPack is like a mix and match version of a Charger 392, right? So the ScatPack come with like, the ScatPack has like mix and match options. So you catch a ScatPack with fucking 4 piston Brembos in the front, or 4 piston Brembos all around, whereas the Daytona, we got the big 6 pistons under this bitch. Don't mind some of the curb rash. But what y'all really want to know is in the engine, right? So the Daytona 392, at least in my year with the 2018, it comes from factory with the Mopar intake, with the heat shield. Which honestly, I'll be honest, that's where like, when you seen a video saying that like you hear ScatPacks whining, this is why. Because it got that fat ass intake on here that comes straight from the inlet right into the intake. Shit is a little dirty. Then we got our strut bar, or strut brace, or whatever you want to call it. That is also going to help with the fact that the front end, the steering on this, at least on the Daytona, I've driven ScatPacks and like comfort and whatnot. The steering, even in comfort on this car, is way tighter, way stiffer all the fucking time. I wouldn't say there's any crazy performance differences. Like, you still get your hood scoop on the ScatPack, you feel me? But you do get different badging. So like, you're gonna get your Daytona badge in the front instead of either the Dodge badge or the ScatPack badge. And then it's also like, typically I took it off, or they took it off for me, but you would get the Hemi badging on the hood, which they took that off because I personally didn't like it, so I'm glad. But you would get the Hemi badging on the hood. You would get the side stickers, because for ScatPacks it comes with an actual badge. This is just a sticker. Like, I could peel this shit right the fuck off. Personally, I like it because it comes in black. It's real sleek. You feel me? It don't do too much. I like it. And obviously, Daytonas come with the Super Track Pack, so you're gonna get your black top package and your interior drive modes, which I'm gonna show you in a minute. And then you come to the back. Mine is a little faded, so we're not gonna talk about it too much, but you do get your Daytona badging all over the back. And then on the very back of the car, you are gonna get your black Charger decals, right? I do like that. That's a nice touch that I haven't taken those off, but you won't get any actual like badging here. You know, there'd typically be like an SRT badge or a ScatPack badge, and that's not here. You don't got a Bumblebee here. Nobody knows what this is for the back unless they can kind of see the Daytona badge. Alright guys, and on the interior you get a lot of small features, and not even features, a lot of small stuff that does make kind of a big difference when you buy a Daytona. So you are going to still get your regular steering wheel with your paddle shifters and whatnot, but you do get black around this part of the steering wheel, which is pretty nice. Typically that's gray. And then these also, I'm not 100% positive, but I'm pretty sure they all come fully loaded. So I do have my adaptive cruise control buttons here. We're not missing any buttons on this steering wheel. Then you get all the same stuff in the actual dash cluster, obviously, 180 mile an hour dash, things of that nature. You get all the same stuff in the dash, but what you do get that's a little different in Daytona, at least for a 2018 model, is you get your Super Track Pack. Some ScatPacks will actually not have the Super Track Pack option, but when we push this, we go straight to our performance control, so we can set up exactly how our sport mode works. Currently, I'm in normal mode with my steering on comfort and my engine transmission normal, paddle shifters on, and it's just a default mode. But if you hit sport, all of that will change to sport for the mode, sport for the engine and transmission, paddle shifters on, traction is in sport, which is traction off, stability control on, and then steering in sport, which basically just makes the steering a lot stiffer when you're driving, and a more sporty feel. And then you can go for the setup. You can actually change all of these depending on what you want. So say you want to have your steering in comfort mode while in sport, but you want to keep everything else like that, or vice versa, you can. Or you can set up your default mode. So if you want to have your steering in comfort on or the sport mode in your default mode, which I personally would not recommend, but because it's very stiff. So like, if you want to have it in sport while you're in comfort or you're in normal mode, you definitely can. I tend to keep it in comfort because I don't want to deal with the stiff-ass steering wheel all the time. You do get your launch control in the 2018 models, which starts off at 2800 RPM, or 1200 RPMs, my bad. But you can start off at 1200, pretty simple setup. It will tell you when to go on the screen, and that will also get into your performance pages. So if you click on performance pages in the top left, you wait for it to load. These do take quite a minute to load for some reason, but you just give that a second, and you get in your performance pages. I have mine on the engine, so you can see your oil pressure, your torque, and your horsepower, and that'll go up progressively as you step on the gas, as you're having fun. You can set up your home screen to have certain widgets. I don't have it set up, but you can add like certain gauges, certain timers, and whatnot. I typically don't really look at the home page on this because that's not what I like to look at. But with your sport mode, or with your launch control, you will actually be able to fill out these timers. You know what I mean? Brake distance, obviously, you have to be driving for that. But these at stop, you can set up your at a stop, you can set up your launch control, and that will actually reflect these timers. So my last was not very good. I did a 0 to 118.3. I wasn't slamming it, you know what I mean? It was pretty cold, but one of my best reaction time, less than a second. You know what I mean? So like, it's not terrible. Some of these times I actually do have to like improve on, but they're not terrible. Then you get your gauges and whatnot. You can see your oil temp, your oil pressure, your coolant temp, and your voltage for your battery, which when you get these cars, they're fully loaded, lots of systems, especially with the Harman Kardons. You want to keep an eye on your battery voltage, if you see in my last video, and then your trans temp and your intake temp on that page. You can also see your G-forces, with your peak G-forces on the right side, with your actual active G-forces in the middle. And I typically keep it on this screen, which is just your engine, which I already went through. It does have the built-in dyno with the Super Track Pack as well. So, I mean, you could use this while driving, but obviously if you're really into having a dyno, you're going to put your shit on an actual dyno, you know what I mean? While this car still does come fully loaded, you also do get you get black trim around this piece for the cup holders. No heated and cooled cup holders like the last Charger had, but, we're not too mad at it because we got a little more horsepower. But you do get black trim around that. Still silver on this, but on your shifter, you do get a black handle on this side. You also are going to have if I can get to it, you're going to have a wireless charging pad in here, which is pretty cool. I'll say my iPhone 16 Pro Max does not fit in there, but, if you have a phone that would fit, it's definitely pretty cool to have. This guy. Then you also, in your controls, you do have your heated seats, your basic heated seats. You also have vented seats and a heated steering wheel that actually works, unlike my last car. You also have your mirror dimmer, which I never really use. I don't know if it actually works because I never use it. I don't know what the situation. I just tint my car, so I don't really know what the mirror dimmer is supposed to what that's supposed to do. But it does work. You know what I mean? And then obviously you get your navigation. Basically, it comes fully loaded, right? You get everything that you can pack into a Charger that could pack into 2018. Something I also didn't talk about, which on the passenger side, you get your Daytona badging on the dash, which is really cool from the typical Charger badging. I think it's a lot. I like it. And then you still get your rear heated seats. And then we also could speak about the seats up front as well with your Daytona stitching, because something I also didn't speak about. Look at all your gold stitching along the car, along the center console, and then also obviously on the seat. And I'll say Daytonas have the best seats out of any Dodge Charger, okay? Them Hellcat seats, the leather, they're nice, but you're not getting a better seat than in a Daytona. Like, once I finally get a Hellcat, I think I gotta get a Daytona Hellcat, because I don't know if I can ever give up this Daytona seat, bro. I love it so much. I could sleep in here. I genuinely could. Driving experience, right? The driving experience, I didn't drive too many other ScatPacks. It drives very similar, right? It's the same engine, same transmission, but the feel is a little different. I'll say that strut brace under the hood does make a difference as far as the handling. Like, in comfort, this steering wheel is still pretty tight. Like, it's still pretty stiff. It's not absolutely terrible, but it's still pretty stiff, especially when you have your lane sense on and you're actually trying to like drive yourself and the lane sense is constantly pushing you around with the stiff ass steering wheel, because it'll fucking like jolt you back into the lane, which is it's not always fun. It's not always fun all the time, but I mean, it's fully loaded. You can't ask for much more, to be honest. The car drives for you. put it in sport, right? So that's basically gonna hold your gears a little bit. You know what the fuck sport mode is, right? I don't have to explain that. We can also keep an eye on this a little bit, put it in performance pages. What I just did for that launch was actually in launch control, and I'll say, I mean, I don't have the great. These are all season tires on here, and it hasn't been too warm, but like the launch is good, but like it's not as fast as you want it to be. Let's be real. Like it's definitely not as the launch control could be better. You know what I mean? That was the lowest setting. I launched at 1200 RPMs and it still was like fighting to not spin. So like, you know, it could be better. It was a little squirrely, but it's not as bad. But in sport mode, the steering, it's a lot tighter, but it's also a lot more responsive, right? So like you have way more responsiveness in the steering. And then also when you step on the gas, you're almost instantly in power, right? And I will say as well, I didn't have paddle shifters in the last Charger, but these paddle shifters are very responsive from other Chargers that I've driven. Like I drove a 2014 all-wheel drive 5.7, and the paddle shifters were not nearly as responsive as on this car. I will say the 8-speed transmission that they put in these cars is so much better than their 5-speed, bro. Like, it's fucking amazing. Like, I honestly, like, that is one of the things that I love about this car. Not everybody will appreciate it, but, like, I love the fucking 8-speed they put in this car. You hear that? Yo, I hope the camera's picking that up, bro. Why this shit whining like that? Shit whine louder than a Hellcat. What the fuck? Like, even in these bends, right, this thing is holding great. You know, we got up to slightly above the speed limit there, and it was holding great in the corners, in the bends. I can definitely say, like, this Daytona's handling is amazing. Like, people say these cars don't handle, they don't corner well, and while they may not have the latest and greatest cornering, they still handle pretty well. And also, I'll say, brakes for impact, these Brembo brakes work exceptionally well. Like, the Brembos are fucking amazing to come to that kind of stop like that, to where everything that I had in the back just fucking fell. But, like, these Brembos are great. The whole car is pretty balanced all the way around, man. Even on shifting on this 8-speed, like, shifting up, like, just the noises, like... It's got like a fake DSG. This shit whining like that is literally like, it's telling me what my future has in store for me, right? That's all I gotta say. Also say the suspension on this car is pretty, like, besides the obvious, well, like the steering and whatnot, the suspension on this car is definitely A1. I think, do not quote me on this, but I think the Daytonas come with an upgraded sway bar, and I only say that because when I was looking at this car, I said a little bit in the last video, when I was looking at this car, I went and looked at another Daytona, and that one definitely had an upgraded sway bar. Now, it was a year newer. That one was a 2019, but I could tell that it was different. I looked under my car. I don't think I have it, but it could be possible, could just be a different color. But, like, don't quote me. I don't want to say that's another difference, but, like, it could be a little different. I know ScatPacks ain't got it. Let me stop. And these things do get rowdy too. Like, you can definitely, you know what I mean? You can definitely power slide something in this car, and like the takeoff is just ridiculously fun.
My jello pink, I put my wrists on, yeah, I probably freeze. I put the Vans on, rockin' ERD. Just watch some money fall down and fall like leaves. My jello pink, I put my wrists on, yeah, I probably freeze. I put the Vans on.
I saved another mod for last. We actually did the interior lighting all through the doors and through the dash and whatnot. You know, just to add a little bit of ambience in here, because like it was super dark in here for no reason, I noticed, with this car. So I felt like we could do that for the end of the video. And I'll tell you, L-Wire is the original dash lighting for these Chargers and whatnot, and it's ridiculously fucking annoying to set up. I don't recommend it. To be honest, I don't recommend it at all. But I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll catch you in the next one.